POS show yo. Yo, it's POS with Pat and Bobby. News so wild it's never sloppy. Talk the truth, don't make it snobby. Who's with POS? We getting choppy. POS show yo.
Happy Tuesday, everybody, and happy September, everyone. Bobby, how are you?
I'm going to sleep. Wake me up once September ends.
Oh, yeah, Green Day. The band that thinks they're punk, but all their songs are used for commercialization.
yeah, big time.
Everyone's like, you know that band that ended Seinfeld's? Yeah, you can't be punk and be in the last episode of Seinfeld and be every white person's answer to "It's gonna be May." It's like, well, wake me up when September ends.
You can't have a 6-year run on Broadway and claim to be punk rock.
Well, I think you could, but you'd have to do more than what they did. Like, trying to be an American idiot or just a guy, because that's what all Americans are, fucking idiots. I'm mad at the government. Are you? Because you seem to be making a lot of money, and no, and I don't think they're get too mad at you with the taxes. You didn't move. You're here. What is a Green Day, by the way? It's just like, it's nice out. That's not punk. Green Day. That just means like, the trees are sweet and the grass is good. How about being white trash? How about being a brown day? Like that, like shit lawn, fucking. How about being like a purple day, which is like the blood that poured out of you from doing so much coke out of your nose that it turned purple from the air. Be that day. Green, fuck you. Anyways, happy September, everyone.
Happy September. On the Green Day Broadway musical, did you ever see it?
No. Oh, my gay?
Oh, I saw it in college. Like they gave it to us for
free.
For free. I went to see it. And to be honest with you, the plot's amazing. It starts out, he's doing drugs, he's having a great time, he's fucking hot chicks. Then he decides to get sober, and it's like about the struggle of getting sober and how everything kind of falls to shit while he's doing it. And honestly, I like that they put the message out there that they should do drugs.
Yeah. Jim jumping in, fired up. A Green Day is what happens with your penis after a night with a prostitute. Gang Green Day, that's what that is. Right? That's also the Jets, which is also gay. And yeah, Jim, Bobby's not gay. Bobby's inner child is a homo, but Bobby himself is straight as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I was in 7th grade when American Idiot came out, and that was, in my opinion, their last good album. I didn't stay on board for all the gay stuff. I was just trying to beat all the radio jocks by saying, wake me up when September ends.
Well, if you want to do a nice clip there, you could say Bobby is gay and then turn it right to beat all the radio jocks, and then you'd be all set.
Hell yeah, dude. Book me at the tiny cupboard.
Speaking of radio jock shit, just a quick, not was a shout out or a farewell, but just I think some people are just too stupid and don't read posts well. I do radio for 2 different stations, and now I do radio for 1 station. And I said 1 station is changing formats. So the Fox in Fairfield County has been a small station that does not cover a big ground. To be honest, for the last couple of years, what's up, Chris? To be honest, for the last couple of years, Connoisseur Media, which I work for, has been using 95.9 The Fox as a training ground when they hire new people. Myself, just a couple other comics that have been hired recently, and other personalities to learn it. You go on that station, you learn how to be on, and then they move you to one of the 4 others, really the 3 other ones. So we have Star, we have Weeby 108, and we have the 99.1 PLR, and you get to move on over there. But you get to learn a little bit and learn how to do the radio and all this kind of stuff. Terry talking about if he was gay, he would do all the gay stuff. I know he said differently, but I'm saying no, that's wrong.
Like your style.
Yeah, fag. Anyway, so like one of the stations I was on was PLR, but and Fox. And the Fox, even though I learned and now I was on PLR part time, I also got to be on the Fox a bunch when they had to fill in for other people that are the full-time guys, and also just when they didn't have extra weekends to give out. Now, the Fox about a month ago let us know that they're going to be, stopping being the Fox, which is alternative music and some today's stuff, and taking our AM station, WICC, and giving them an FM home as well. not as big, but going over there because they've been doing quite well, especially their morning shows. Woman Melissa has done a huge show, so it's not going to be much bigger for them, but it's smart to have an FM platform, as well, because AM, not some people are going there, but they're doing great. They're like they're tops in most of the demographics right now for AM, so they're killing it. So they're moving over there. So therefore, a lot of the people with the new people being hired and the older part timers, there's less spots for us now. So this last weekend, they let everybody kind of be on, a little bit just to do it. We did like the history of alternative rock was like the countdown for like Labor Day, whatever. And I, just by happenstance, not for any reason, happened to be the last live jock on 95.9 The Fox because I was the 3 to 7. And then they just played music. And then this morning, they switched over to ICC. And they announced it this morning. They announced it before. So we couldn't announce or do anything. But I went a little extra hard to the paint because that's me. Because I didn't swear or anything. But I was even being sillier than normal. Because what are you going to do? Fire me from a station? It doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I also wanted to keep my job on the other station right down the hall. So I wasn't being dumb. I was just having fun. But there's more. I took a silly picture of my back facing the Fox logo saying goodbye. Thank you for letting me find out that I love being on radio. I think that little thing got a lot of likes. And a lot of people messaged me saying, hey, we're sorry you got fired. What happened? What did you do? And it's like, even in the comments, people were like, hey, so what happened with the station? I go, oh, the format changed. There was a lot of likes on that. If you read 2 comments, you would know exactly what's going on. But instead, they're all like thinking I got fired. So they think if I got fired or let go, I would stop, take a photo, look at it, and then say goodbye. Thank you for the love. I didn't break up with somebody, you don't even know how firing works. If I got fired, I'd have way more fun things to say. I would have talked about them the way I talk about Green Day. Fuck them. But it wasn't that at all. But the station is gone. And what's nice is in all the comments, people are like, man, I'm pissed. I love that station. It's my favorite station. I'm like, that's absolutely not true because it would have existed longer if you liked it.
Yeah.
Nobody was listening at all. I know that because we took new people who've never been on the radio. And I'm saying this is allegedly, the next thing I'm going to say, allegedly happened. This did not happen, even though I think, what's the thing in law when time passes so you can say it? Statute of limitations.
Yep. So
when I first got hired, I think it was right before like COVID. So like early 2000s, like January, that time there. I was on that station for my first time ever. And my buddy, and you've met him, Ryan Roberts, who's now a radio personality in Hudson Valley in New York. He was in the PLR station, and I said to him, hey, I'm brand new. I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck you, Terry.
I was going to do the same thing. I'm mad at you too, Terry. You beat me to the punch.
So I said, I'll be on WPLR on Sunday, 10 to 3. Fuck you. I'm not fired. But anyway, and I'll be hosting, and I'll be one of the personalities at the Chili Cook-Off Saturday in New Haven, 11 to 1.
Hey, quit bragging.
Hey, fucking dropping truth bombs. But anyway, so my first day on the air, I went on there, and in my second break, I was talking, and I hit the buttons right, and I hit the wrong button, and music on the play, but my mic was still up, and I know for a fact, allegedly, I said, fuck. And then I pulled the button down and played music and ran away. And I ran into Ryan Roberts, allegedly, and I said, hey, what do I do? I know I swore in the air. And he goes, did anyone
allegedly
call? Did anyone call and say anything? Allegedly. And he said, I said, no one's called. No one calls that station. I don't even know how the phone works. And he said, yeah, then shut up. I go, what? He goes, yeah, they don't say anything and no one heard it. Who gives a shit? Because if you now message someone allegedly and say allegedly that you swore allegedly, then they can't fire you because you just admitted to doing a thing you're not supposed to do on the air. But if no one fucking heard a tree swear in the forest, I'm like, oh, that's how much people listen to that station. But it was fun to learn a lot on that station. So goodbye, 95.9 The Fox. I appreciate you, all that stuff. And thank you to all the people that understood the comments in the post. It was the first place I got to say I'm on the radio and do stuff and got me to be on a station that people listen to, a classic rock station. So goodbye to them. So
I do like that when people thought that you were fired, like me and Terry, they thought you stopped and took the picture. In my experience, when you get fired, you look at the manager and go, you fucked this up. This is wrong, and you know it. They nod, and then you storm out, and then you get halfway to your car and realize you left all your sports jackets there, so you have to walk back in sheepishly and grab them. And they think there's like, in their minds, there's a 10% chance they think you're back with a gun. Like, you know what I mean? They really don't think it's happening, but part of them's like a little scared, so that's fun.
If I got fired from that station, right across the hall from my door of that small little studio, the only one without windows. That's how killing it they were. It was a closet. Like when you open the door, there's a bunch on the wall. There's a bunch of screens, silk screens of like rock bands because it's the corner where PLR is and all that. And the one right there, right across, is the famous Nirvana, Nevermind album cover with the kid in the pool with the little penis. I would have taken a picture of the little penis and said, "This is the fox. Goodbye." That's what I would have done. The fox
Honestly?
makes me look. The fox makes me look at this every day. Goodbye. That would have.
Is there
that
still
would have
time?
been the fire. If I'm fired, not I wasn't fired. I wouldn't look at this every day and go, "That's great." There's something allegedly like that, but no. Great station, great company, connoisseur. I'm very happy to work for them still, as long as they don't watch this podcast, which they don't. So it's great. So, Bobby, you had shows in Connecticut. I saw you were getting very good at putting on little montages of
Thanks,
Bobby events. Every time I see a Bobby post on Instagram now, I'm like, oh, Bobby died. Because that's what it looks like. There's always a video going, this was Bobby's last good moments before the AIDS kicked in. So how is your shows?
Well, before I even tell you about that, more importantly, you nailed it because there's a good chance that will be the in memoriam. So I just want them to capture my last happy moments before I get the balls that I can't do when I look in the mirror every day. But my shows were great. Tuesday, I was at the Starboard in Delaware, which I thought was going to be like I got to that town and it looked like like a rough town, and it was postseason for them. Like that area had all gone back to school. So
what town was that?
Dewey Beach.
Dewey Beach.
And did I make the joke about how did you get the name Dewey Beach? I hope it wasn't from a homo down the road. Yes, I did. But it turns out the room was packed, electric energy, and then Aaron left. He was the headliner, so he went back to New York. I stayed for the night, and like when you're amped up after a show, how we walk around or chat for a few hours. When you're by yourself, there's nothing really to do. So I was just walking around, and everybody who was in town was at the Starboard for the comedy show. So like I got treated like a king in this.
Nice.
So it was like a great experience. That was a lot of fun. Saturday I did a venue called The Farm. Have you heard of this in
No, I live in Connecticut. I know most of the shows that are booked in Connecticut. The first I ever learned of any of this is by you posting the comedians from New York are coming to a farm.
And boy, did we. It was a barn, one-story barn with like one side.
So they should have called it the barn.
They could have, because the only crops they grew on the farm was weed. But it was about eight of the people who lived and worked on the farm together. I think they were a family. Sometimes, some of them multiple times over. Like they were cousins, and now they're husband and wife as well. And then like a bunch of their friends. But it was a lot of fun. Casket puts on a good show. Like they're starting to brand out. They've got a guy in Ohio now, and they're all young, but you can't tell because they're doing 5 spots a night and getting decent at it. But even in that room, and this is something I really learned from you, and I truly mean this. When we did the shows together at the Mohegan Sun, the advice you gave
called
me
everyone gay and left.
I mean, I did. You'd be surprised.
Good night, everybody. Gay.
But the energy tip, dude. Like everybody was kind of low energy, like, oh, this is great, like, yeah, but not into it. And I just swung for the fences, and it really worked. And at one point, I did my World Cup joke where I spell that word, the N word, and a guy goes, "Can I
ICUP?"
And a guy goes, "Can I yell it?" I was like, "You can, but there aren't any here, so I don't think it's gonna have the reaction you're looking for." And he was like, "Good point. We got rid of him." And I was like, oh, boy, I get why Ish left early.
Well, he's not one of those.
No, I just don't think they liked anybody who didn't look like them.
He does do rap jokes, though.
He did not. Not this evening. He read the room. He did very well, dude. He killed. He opened it real well. He's fucking
hilarious. Ish is a great writer, man. He's just likable on stage. He's a funny dude.
And off stage, too. Like, I didn't, you know what I mean?
Oh, great guy.
Time, but he seemed like a great dude, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And then last night, I got booked on Frantic. A lot of fun. Did my typical hacky dick joke to start the show. Got nothing. Nothing. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, usually it gets at least a ha. And so I do like a little crowd work, and the third person in a row is British, and I just go, "Who all is fucking British in here?" And everybody in the room was from England except for one person. And so I was just like, "All right, you and me, man, we're gonna throw tea in the harbor. Like, let's go teach these crooked tooth motherfuckers a lesson." It was fun.
That's the way to win them over.
They liked it. Yeah, they like it
Oh,
when
I'm
you
sure they're
jab
so
at 'em.
happy.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
my
yeah,
teeth
yeah.
stink. Thanks,
Yeah.
guy.
And then so a lot of fun. That show went really well. A lot of fun times. Looking,
Good.
it's
I'm
good
happy
that
you
the
had
summer's
fun
over.
times.
Hitting the groove.
Summer's not over yet, I don't think technically, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I
How
think
about
technically
you?
on the calendar, the summer is till like September 20 something.
That's why I say wake me up when it ends.
But then what? What once I wake them up from when September's over, are they gonna kick ass in October? Is that what's happening? They like Halloween and cider and Columbus?
Do you know the actual story?
No, and there can't be a part of me where I care.
Okay. I won't tell you then.
I appreciate it, but I would rather die not knowing the story.
Well, speaking of his death, his dad died, and he wouldn't come out of his room, and basically was like, "I'll do it in October."
Why? Because his dad's gonna be a ghost and get him? Why is he hiding once his dad's dead? Maybe come out of the room, say bye to your dad. Wow, my dad's dead. All of September. And guess what? He's also gonna be dead in October. Stay in your room.
I think the dad's death was a good cover for his
Gay.
heroin
For his
addiction.
being gay.
No, he was just passed out on heroin for a month.
Wake me up when my dad's not gay. That's the song.
Oh, look who made it. Kish, kish, kish. Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank God. Now we can fucking start. Thank God. Hi, Kish.
It is funny how he tunes in right as we're about to do our first story.
Well, our first story, you're talking about coming out swinging, if you will. Guess who doesn't like fights happening at bars?
Bartenders?
Steve Buscemi.
What?
Don't fuck with shit, because Buscemi will break it up. Actor Steve Buscemi tries to break up fight outside Irish pub. Dude, that'd be crazy if you were getting in a fight and all of a sudden you're like, Buscemi?
In Ireland.
Yeah, he's got those weird like penis eyes. Have you ever seen that fucking meme where it's like a song thing that somebody made up, and they're like, "Would you have sex with Mila Kunis if she had
Yes.
Buscemi eyes?" It's like one of the greatest dumb songs of all times. But
And then
so
they
good, so
put all
good.
the pictures of it. Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
His eyes look like old vaginas. It's fucking crazy. It's like he has the worst eyes of all times.
Never
but,
wet, like grandma's pussy.
Steve Buscemi, quote unquote, tried to help break up a fight outside a bar in Dublin while taking a break from filming the latest season of Netflix's Wednesday. So I guess Steve Buscemi was busy being Gomez Adams. It was like, I ain't got time for fisticuffs. Let's break this shit up. I want to take that guy off my people to kill list from Billy Madison.
Would it break up the fight if you were mid-brawl in Ireland and you're like, I think that's Steve Buscemi trying to stop this?
If I notice that it's Steve Buscemi in the middle of the fight, I'm not committed to the fight and I'm looking for a distraction. Because if I'm ready to fight, I'm just going, oh, I'm going to punch the guy that looks like Steve Buscemi. That'll be funny and knock him the fuck out. Oh, did I go too far? Go. Punch.
That's pretty good.
Not worth a fight and getting sued by Steve Buscemi, but it's decent. Buscemi, best known for his roles in... Okay, they're going to give us two, Bobby. You name what you think those are his best known roles.
Obviously, one's got to be Gomez Adams.
No.
For
the best known roles of Buscemi's career, Gomez... He's not even the best known Gomez Adams.
Wasn't he that dude on Everybody Loves Andy Griffith?
Oh, you're doing bits? Help me! Name Buscemi movies.
Dude, I don't know any. Isn't there one where he's like locked in a haunted mansion?
It's not even Fargo, but I just said Fargo. You could have done that one.
I don't know if I've ever seen that movie.
Fargo?
Yeah.
It's a great movie and a great TV show.
It's a Fargo for me.
Right. Big Lebowski and Reservoir Dogs.
Oh boy, I heard about the warehouse he runs.
That's a great fucking thing. He doesn't run it. Had just finished lunch at Bubba's Fish Market in South Dublin. I don't know if I want to go to Bubba's Fish Market in South Dublin. That sounds like a sex move. When two men started brawling outside a nearby pub on Saturday night, the Irish Independent said. Wait. Okay, so I just read this and I went on to Steve Buscemi just finished lunch at Bubba's Fish Market when two men were brawling outside a nearby pub on Saturday night. What time's lunch?
That's a great question.
It's a long lunch.
Yeah, dude. Did he take maybe he took lunch and just got hammered at the pub?
Yeah. The 66-year-old Brooklyn native had largely gone unrecognized during his meal until he and other bystanders went to check out the skirmish. He was very close to it, but he held himself back from breaking it up. Oh, so he didn't do anything.
What is this story?
Yeah, you know what? Terry's right. Con Air. Yeah,
That's a good point.
Con Air.
Yeah.
He's great in Con Air. He stood over the guy on the ground for a few seconds, and the fight naturally broke up after that, a witness told the publication. He stood over the ground. Like, Buscemi's like, look who it is. Me. Buscemi.
Like who?
The most unopposing thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather Freddie Mercury's asshole stand over there. Like, that's not as gay as Buscemi thinking he can stop this fight.
The issue is if you wake up and see either, you're going to go, fuck, I'm in hell.
Buscemi or Freddie Mercury's asshole?
Either one. If you see both, You're like, fuck, I didn't make it to the promised land. Neither of my version of heaven has neither of those things, Pat.
Well, I didn't say it was heaven. It's Dublin.
But I'm saying if you wake up after getting knocked out and you see Freddie Mercury's asshole, what's your first thought? Mine is, fuck, I'm in hell.
Oh, I wouldn't think I was dead. I would just think I can never fight again because I just fought and Buscemi's here.
And you got AIDS, asshole.
Some people said he broke up the fight, but he didn't. He tried to help, which is more than most people would do. He slipped around the corner and disappeared from the crowd after the fight dissipated. Buscemi, who worked as a firefighter in New York during the 80s, was randomly assaulted in Kips Bay in May. I like how they threw this in. Like, remember when he got punched? Because we talked about that months ago. Suffering a harsh punch that left him with a swelling in his face and left eye. So the woman writing this article is like, yeah, Buscemi tried to break up a fight. Remember when he got knocked the fuck out? Because I do.
Ireland never forgets.
He has been spotted largely around Dublin as he continues filming for the next season of Tim Burton's Wednesday. Previously, seasons were filmed in Romania, but relocated to Ireland this season. Buscemi is one of the newest additions to the cast and will debut as Barry Dort. So he's not even Gomez Adams. I just made that up and thought I was right, but no. He's Barry Dort, the new principal of the show's Nevermore Academy. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it people who think Steve Buscemi broke up a fight and are telling people that? Because that's what happens. And it would have worked before the internet. The problem with the internet is that you can't just start a fucking rumor. Like when you're like, hey, Richard Gere puts hamsters and gerbils in his ass for fun all the time. And he's like, no, I don't. But he didn't have anywhere to like tell people. Then they're like, oh, you just yell it in interviews. Hey, go see Pretty Woman. And also, there's no animals in my butt, like, ever. And they're like, shut up, fucking Buddhist. You have animals in your butt. Going back to telling people. So the Buscemi thing, if this happened in, like, 1975, there'd be legend and lore of Steve Buscemi breaking up a fight in Dublin. And like, he wasn't even in Dublin. He was in New York fighting fires. But he just heard there was a fight, and he's so great, Steve Buscemi. He'd be like, what's it?
He
Charles
swam
Bronson?
to Ireland, yeah.
Was it Bronson or was the other one? Who's the one that fights? That they make things up about? Not Bronson. The redheaded one that thinks he knows
Walker,
karate.
Texas Ranger.
Yeah, Walker, Texas Ranger. What's his real name?
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Yeah, Buscemi would win like that and get over there and go, he stops fights in Dublin when he's hanging out in Ireland. Or he's in New York and he's hanging out with, what's his name? Who's the one that looks like Buscemi and should be his son, but he's not? Pete Davidson. And he's like, my dad, Pete Davidson, who died in 9/11, but really became Steve Buscemi. He just wanted to leave me.
Wait, Steve Buscemi was a firefighter too, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he was an actor.
Well, I think we know what happened. Yeah,
and yeah. He just left, dude. Buscemi is his dad, whatever.
Well, anyway, we have our title of today's show. Is Steve Buscemi's Pete Davidson's bastard father?
Done. I don't know if I'll go as far as that. I might just say, is this your son? I am not the father, and put them together or something like that. But either way. So, anyway, is the piece of shit people who started this rumor and said that? Is the piece of shit people who said, nope, it's not true. Fuck you, Buscemi. You just stood there like a bitch. They could have let this go, too. They didn't have to say anything. Is the piece of shit the author of this story for writing this story? Is this news? There was a fight in Dublin. Yeah, no shit. There's always a fight in Dublin. They're Irish and they're drunk. Is it people who have lunch and then it runs into dinner and then they pick up fights because they seem too drunk to be doing that? Is it Bubba's Fish Market? That's not even a real name. That sounds like a Sims name. If you were gonna make up a Bubba's Fish Market right next to Homer's Bar and Grill, whatever. It sounds like the stupidest fake name ever. Is it Irish people? I know I'm supposed to be one of them, but I'm not. I'm from Connecticut. I've never been to Ireland. Irish people, stop fighting all the time. You've got nothing to win. You're from Ireland. No one goes, there's no good export, there's no good import. You're just green, like a Green Day, which sucks, which you established earlier. No one cares. Or is it Steve Buscemi? Get the fuck out of here. Go make your dumb movie that no one cares about and your spooky shit. If Olivia, what's the name? The girl that plays the main one. It's not Olivia Rodrigo. What's that? Who's Jenna Ortega?
Ortega, yeah.
If she showed up, you'd be like, all right, let her break up the fight. She's cute. But everyone's like, Buscemi, get the fuck out of here, Barry Dort. No one needs your shit. Or is it the person that named him Barry Dort? That name sucks. Who's the piece of shit?
Oh, so many options. So the first one I want to say is it's not him for not actually breaking up the fight. And it's not the people for not spreading the lore. I broke up one fight in my life. Have I ever told you this story?
I don't think so, but even if you had, let's do it anyway.
So two kids were fighting. They were football players. And what had happened is the black kid threatened the white kid one day at practice and made him say the N-word. Then the next day, the black kid came up to the white kid, threw his books down, and was like, we're fighting because you called me the N-word yesterday. And there was a lot of context around it. Like, it wasn't as simple as that. There wasn't a simple solution. But honestly, the fight was so ugly. They were like slapping each other. Nobody was really throwing fists. Like it neither one looked good, even if you won the slap fight. So I went to break it up. I grabbed one of the guys, the 6'6" center who played next to me, went to Temple, grabbed the other one. The guy he's grappling flails, hits me in the face, breaks my nose. I get called down to the principal's office. They go, what happened? I go, nah. And he goes, what? And I go, nah, I got rights. Like, I can't explain to you all the context. You're going to hear one part of this story and then the whole thing's going to be over. So I'm not saying shit. Should be over there, right? The principal called home.
Because you literally said too much by doing that second part.
I mean, I didn't.
Now I got to know. Now I got to know that one thing.
But I didn't exactly specify that there was one thing that would change your perspective. I was like, I can't give you all the context to explain what happened. The principal called home and was like, hey, I just want you to question Bobby about his moral values and why he won't speak up in this situation. And so I went in the next day and was like, hey, did you know what our justice system's precipitated on? The idea of letting 1,000 guilty people walk before one innocent person gets. And because you refuse to uphold that and I choose to, I'm the one lacking moral value. Look in the mirror. And we had already had a fight at this point. I threatened to call the news on him one time when he wanted to give me detention for being pro-life, even though I wasn't pro-life. You know, so it's not Buscemi. I get that breaking up a fight can cause you more problems than it's worth. I got more trouble than either of the two people in the fight.
Yeah, I was like, just for being a fucking lawyer nerd. I was like, yeah, this guy spent this. And I don't know if you know this, Bobby, you did give him the answer with your first answer. You gave him the first and last letter of the word that was said. Nah.
Yeah, he could have figured it out from there. We had two principals, and the other principal hated this guy for being such a nerd. Like, he was such a by the books. Like, the other guy would listen to a situation and make a rational judgment, which is what you should do as kids. But this other guy was such a stickler and trying to get people in trouble. The head principal loved that how much of a hard time I gave it. So I didn't get in that much trouble, but it was just like everybody was sick of him. And you know me, I got to be a hero like Pat Benatar needed. So it's not Buscemi. It's not people for making up a legend about Buscemi or saying that he broke up the fight. Like, I get doing that. Sometimes that's what the world needs. And in fact, that's what I'm going to share with my first story. So I'm not going to say it's them. For me, the piece of shit is whoever wrote this article. You know what the article should be called? Steve Buscemi watched a fight in Ireland. That's it. He wasn't involved.
But then I wouldn't have selected it. So they did good.
No, I mean, she did her job, but you get my point. That's being a piece of shit. That's clickbaiting. We do it all the time, and that's why we're the POS podcast. But in this case, it bothered me because we both thought this goofy motherfucker was going to fight even more goofy motherfuckers. And I'd like to add a second piece of shit, and it's Bubba Food Company. How pissed do you think Irish people are?
Bubba Food Company's from Bubba Gum.
That's what I was about to get to. How pissed do you think Irish people are when they're in Orlando and they're like, this is not what we expected?
It's got retards and blacks.
Oh, a lot of burned shrimp in this joint.
By the way, Bobby, for you to say like I can't do that, we can do it because we're POS. They're
Yeah.
POST. So like they're right there. They've been saying it the whole time. The New York POST.
I actually just sign up for those cocksuckers.
The New York piece of shit Times.
Yeah, they are
That's
pieces
it.
of shit. Fuck them. You know what? They are the failing New York Times, as I've always said.
Bobby, without them, we wouldn't have any content.
Oh, that's the Post. Never mind. I was thinking of the Times. I hate the Times. I love the Post. You're right, Pat. My bad.
Right. Yes.
I take it back.
I have two pieces of shit. One is in your story that you told in between this story. Because my story, with your story, it's the white kid. Because the fight started because he was told, somehow intimidated by the black guy and made to say the N-word. Then the guy used it again. I've heard people doing this before. But usually, that's because they know that black guy can fight. But this white kid did not do his research because then you do it to tell us they slap fought and it was the worst fight ever. So I would have knocked that kid out and then said the N-word again. I would have like, or I'm doubling down because I would have doubled down on this because you said because you made me do something I didn't want to do and I didn't realize I could beat you up. So the piece of shit in that story is the white kid. The piece of shit in the other story is the guys who were fighting. Because if they really wanted to capitalize on this, and I get it, they're drunk, they're at an Irish pub, they're Irish people. But what usually happens in most stories you hear about in Ireland? We fought and then we hugged and then we drank Guinness and then we fucked each other's wives. They all get along at the end, usually, whatever the fuck it is, all the time. But if the two of them were fighting and then they both stopped for a second and went, is that fucking Steve Buscemi? They should have turned and beat the shit out of Steve Buscemi and then talked about the time they drove Buscemi out of the lands. And it would have been like the new St. Patrick. Instead of the rats, it's the man who looks like a rat. Like, we beat up the guy who looks like Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in real life. We beat the fuck out of him because he was on our land. And we don't even celebrate Wednesdays anymore because of that. We have 2 Tuesdays. Because fuck Wednesday and fuck Buscemi and fuck you. They should have beat the shit out of Buscemi. That would have been the greatest story of all times.
And I don't even know if Irish people, like I know Dublin's the capital, so it's probably more civilized than a lot of Ireland, but they may not even know who he is. You should just see this monster in your town and run it out. That's what Irish people are known for.
They know who it is because they don't have any good TV. They won't watch BBC because it's fucking the English. So they watch our shit because they love it.
I mean, I love it too.
And all our celebrities go there to get drunk behind the scenes, so they know who we are.
One of my favorite shows is about Newfoundland, which is like the Ireland of Canada. I really want to go.
The Ireland of Canada.
They all have Irish accent instead of Canadian. It's great.
Oh, it's literally Ireland. I thought you just meant they were drunk and then they fucking beat their wives.
And they are. It's everything you want, but not across an ocean.
And do they have a rock that people go to and kiss and then they rip and they go, "Ha, you morons, we got you to come here to kiss a stupid rock."
They have a father and son private dick team that everybody in the town kisses.
Yeah, Blarney stoned my ass. Kiss my butt.
All righty. Are you ready for a story, Pat? I don't know. Have you followed what's going on in Colorado at all?
Well, do I have to be ready first, or are we just gonna do the story?
We can do the story. I was gonna ask, have you followed this at all?
Because I gotta get ready. All right. No, I know nothing about this story.
All right. In the summer of 2024, a wild story swept across the internet like wildfire, leaving everyone that heard
So
it.
like last week?
Yeah. Literally, it's happening as we're speaking.
Oh, like what the fuck? It swept the It's just still happening. It's still the summer of 2024.
And it's still ongoing. The story claimed that Aurora, Colorado was under siege, not by a natural disaster or an economic collapse, but by a Venezuelan cartel. The rumor painted a grim picture. A foreign cartel had taken control of the city, turning peaceful neighborhoods into war zones and leaving the local police powerless, or worse, complicit. Aurora, it seemed, was lost, held hostage by a violent and ruthless organization. Have you seen any of those videos?
No, I know nothing of this.
Oh, no. So basically what's going on, just to summarize, because this is like, there's videos in the article. What's going on is this gang is moving in and like literally cleaning out apartments of public housing and being like, "You're out, you're out, you're out. We own this now," and force the evicting people and taking it over with like machine guns. It's
That's
very
a good way to
ugly.
do it.
They've got video of that happening, which is important because just when it seemed that all hope was lost, the narrative took an unexpected twist. Enter the Hell's Angels, legendary
Dun, dun, dun.
legendary for their outlaw reputation, but now cast as unlikely heroes. According to the stories, these bikers had decided to take matters into their own hands. The Hells Angels, once feared, were now being hailed as the saviors of Aurora. The tales described an epic confrontation where the roar of Harley Davidsons filled the streets of Aurora. Bullets flew and the cartel was driven out. The Hells Angels, it was said, restored order, and the people of Aurora welcomed them as liberators. And there were a lot of videos going on. This is happening in Chicago, too. The gang's taking over. There were a lot of videos of motorcycle groups riding over the weekend that people were clipping and saying we're the HA going to get them. I saw one guy who's like, I'm not an HA, but I'm in one of those other clubs, and the only way we would do this is if we could make money. We're not good people. If they fucked with our family or if we could make money, there's a chance that one of their mothers lives there. And he kind of hinted that that's what was going on. So there was evidence, but nobody saw the motorcycles in the town. And that's kind of key because as captivating as the story was, it turned out to be nothing more than a myth. Investigative journalists soon uncovered the truth. There was no heroic rescue by the Hells Angels. Aurora, as it turns out,
oh, the second part. I thought you meant there was no gangs going down. Like, what? You just made that up in your video?
There are videos of it, and the
Right,
videos
no, I
are
believe you. I
actually,
thought that
no,
was
no,
made
no.
up. Like, who made video? AI is nuts.
But it's so, who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it the Venezuelan cartels taking over? You're a cartel, you see an opportunity, you're going to seize it, right? They're just kind of doing what they do. You don't get mad at a snake for biting you. It's a snake. That's what they do. That's what they've built their industry upon. That's what they're going to do. If a McDonald's saw an opportunity to open up within those housing departments, they would do the same thing. They would open it up and make profit off of it. I get it. Is it the people who started the rumor that the Hells Angels, a group you're not supposed to use the name of unless if you're like a part of them, especially make up reports about we're going to save people. You're not going to guilt trip those groups into saving them, right? Like you're not going to guilt trip a group like that. If there was a reason for them to be there, they would have already been there. You don't have to alert them of what's going on. You don't have to ask them for help. You know what I mean? Like unless if you pay them, it's not going to happen. And even if you pay them, they're going to be mercs. It's not really like they're doing it out of this is our sworn duty. Is it people who are mad about this legend? Like I got to fantasize about it for 2 days. I thought it would be a great 80s action movie, right? You have Arnold Schwarzenegger teaming up with, who is your piece of shit in this story, Pat?
Wait, who's he teaming up with?
I would say
I want a second guy. You can't just do that. I want a second guy.
I was gonna let you choose.
Chuck Norris?
Well, Chuck Norris is actually the leader of a third motorcycle gang who helps form a peace between Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone.
Wesley Snipes?
He's part of the local gang movement on the ground, which is another part of the story that's actually kind of going on, where the Crips and Bloods are fighting back a little bit, and they may take the land
Weaver?
I didn't. Yeah, I could see that. Can we get a young Lindsay Lohan being captured by the Venezuelans and they got to save her?
It sounds like something a guy in a black church would yell, and everyone's like, "What? Like, can we get a young Lindsay Lohan?" They're like, "What? No.
She's gonna be saved by the Lord." Okay, I still
You
don't
mean
like it.
Lindsay Lohan, but just back in the day, or do you want a young girl that looks like? Because there's one's illegal. Like, the one we can't do.
I'm strictly talking about the actress in a movie.
Bobby, I've never been more certain in my life about who the piece of shit is in a story that we've covered ever. This is cut and dry. This is very easy. It is you, 100% trying to get me to say that two wonderful organizations like the Venezuelan fucking crime lords and the Hells Angels have done anything wrong ever. They are both amazing, and I love all the charity work they do, and never find me and hurt me. Bobby, you for even implying that they're doing anything wrong. Either one of those is horseshit. Get the fuck away from me. You're the piece of shit, not the Venezuelan crime bosses. not the wonderful, beautiful Hells Angels. It's you, sir.
Ironically, my piece of shit wasn't going to be you, but now it is. Because if you notice, I did not say a bad word about either of those two organizations. I
You
just explained why
implied
they
that
would do
they're
it.
removing people from their homes. You implied that the Hells Angels would even possibly be involved in this scenario. You implied all these things, and I'm implying that you, my friend, not the Venezuelan crime lords, and not the Hells Angels, which, by the way, you called them the HAs. If there was a kid who didn't know they were, and he went, ha, he'd be murdered because he wouldn't realize he was laughing at them like Nelson from The Simpsons. But no, it is you, sir, the one man who speaks illy of two incredible foundations.
I disagree. I spoke nothing but good things about both of those organizations. And
I wouldn't
would
have
say
known about these things if you didn't say anything. So I'm
piece
saying
of
it's
shit
all
is
on
Matt
you.
Wallace for putting this story out there. He was the one who started the rumor.
Take that, Matt Wallace.
Boom,
That's
back
it.
on the same page.
We're kind of, but still, if you didn't read it, I wouldn't be in trouble with the you know how many comedy shows I do for the Venezuelan crime lords every year? At least four. I can't be in trouble with them. I love the Venezuelan crime lords, or whatever the fuck you call them. But guess what? Do you, Bobby, you've talked about this before, so this isn't me saying anything wrong. You've talked about on here, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's going to help us get to our story, that you, when you were in a relationship, you were, I don't know if you were cheated on, but it was implied that the woman was with somebody else, correct?
Sure. That's
and you've also
answer,
talked
yeah.
about, in your jokes and things like that, the ways that you would like to get revenge in those ways, and you're happy that bad things happen and stuff, right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And you also mentioned at one point that fire was involved somehow in the scenario, correct?
You know what? I'm going to wait for my lawyer to answer that third question.
I'm just saying maybe you could relate to this story. Because an Olympic runner, Rebecca Cheptegei, I guess you say it, gets set on fire by her boyfriend. That's our story, baby.
That girl is on fire.
A Ugandan athlete living in Kenya was attacked and set on fire by her boyfriend and is receiving treatment for burns on 75% of her body, police said.
Pat, did you hear what she
By the
asked
way,
the EMTs?
Who's that guy who does the math?
That's a great question. But her first
Could you
question
please
was,
put out the flames? Not until we get this graph out.
no, she said, Uganda put out the flames or not?
No, you're going to be hurting for a while.
That's what he responded.
Rebecca Cheptegei, I don't know how to pronounce it. We're going to call her Rebecca, a distance runner who finished at the 44th position in the 2024 Paris Olympics, was attacked in her house in the western Transnosia County. Transnosia County Police Commander Jeremiah Olkoziam said Monday that Cheptegei's boyfriend, Dixon Nademi, this is bullshit with these names, bought a jerrycan of petrol, poured it on her, and set her ablaze during a disagreement Sunday. It's like, hey, we should go out to Taco Bell. No, we're going to KFC. Taco Bell, flames.
Only they knew about the beautiful combination that is both.
You better run for the border on fire. Nademi also sustained burn wounds, and the two are receiving specialized treatment at the Moy Teaching and Referral Hospital at Eldoret City. Man, it's got to suck to live in a place where they also teach. Like, that can't be good. That's like getting your hair cut at the beauty school where it's for free. Like, I don't want to go
No bueno, yeah.
to the Teaching and Referral Hospital. I'm on fire. Do you have two references? Cheptegei's parents said their daughter bought land in Transnosia to be near the county's many athletic training centers. A report filed by the local chief states that the couple was heard fighting over the land where the house was built before the fire started. In 2023, Ugandan Olympic runner and steeplechaser Benjamin Kiplagat was found dead with stab wounds. There's no other part of the story, Bobby, besides they just threw that in at the end.
That's
They were like, this one lady's on fire. They fought over land, but I don't feel like we can end it there. So, do you remember that guy, Benjamin Kiplagat? Boom,
No.
the clot. was found dead with stab wounds. Oh, and by the way, also, Bobby, in case you're like, what else happens? In 2022, Kenyan-born Baharani athlete Demarius Muthi was found dead with a post-mortem report stating that she was strangled. That didn't even happen in Uganda. They were just other African people. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it the man who set his girlfriend on fire in an argument? Not really the nicest way to end an argument, because if you want to end an argument and leave, it doesn't help if you both go to the hospital together, because he also got burn wounds. Is it the woman runner? You're a runner. I know you came in 44th, but you should be able to get away from a guy throwing gas on you. Maybe that's why you came in 44th. Is it the teaching and referral hospital? Become a real hospital. We've sent you enough relief rice and other things to set up a real hospital. What are we doing? Is it the person that wrote this article was like, yeah, lady, I know you were burnt on 75% of your body, but that's not a good way for us to end this article. Boring. How about this other guy you got stabbed? How about this other lady you got strangled? Not anything to do with the story. We just wanted to let you know about it. Or is it the guy who was a runner and steeplechaser? Fucking gay. Who's the piece of shit in the story?
So the obvious piece of shit seems to be whoever wrote the story for doing something that you said is your least favorite, one of your least favorite things in the world, which is, hey, you remember that person? They're dead. Like, she did it 3 times in the article. I'm guessing it's a he, actually, since it's from Uganda. So I apologize. I didn't mean to misgender you there. But for me, this seems like obviously the boyfriend for lighting her on fire. But what were they arguing about?
Didn't tell us.
That's
land. I'm sorry. Yes, land. The land that she bought, that was her land that he was living on with her, and now he's arguing about wanting the land.
So I need to know more details about the argument. Like, for instance, did she accuse him of gaslighting her?
And no, just regular lighting her with gas.
And he was like, that's not gaslighting. This is. And then he poured it on her, because that would be funny, and I'd give him a bit of a pass. If it was a cheating situation, that is not how you get back at the girl, despite what India will tell you. The best way to do it, and I'm not saying you should, but is in Minecraft, kill him and then kill yourself and make her live with the guilt. That's the worst punishment you could deliver to somebody. So for me, it's him for lighting her on fire, and now girls can actually say there was one instance in the world of gaslighting.
Heyo, Bobby, Kevin always helps with these things, and he's right. This was going to be my piece of shit, so I'm very happy. It is the guy, like you said, but not because of what you said, because he didn't hire goons. Hire goons. Don't ever light women on fire by yourself. You're going to get caught and you're going to get burned. Not only figuratively, but literally. He got burned too. But guess who? He wouldn't have got burned if he got goons to do it. Have the goons go out and light him on fire. Have the goons burn her and burn the land. That way, the land is nobody's now. If I can't have the land, no one has the land. Yeah. This land is my land. This land is your land. You've got burns now. You're in the hospital. That's the old song. Land. Yes. But that's the way you do it. You hire goons. Once again, not only in America, but throughout the world, we can help out the economy if we start putting money into goons. Help people out. More goons, more jobs. That's my thing. Make America goons again. That's MAGA. We need goons. Back in the day, we did that. That wouldn't have happened in Chicago or anywhere else if we had goons. But instead, you're hiring cartels and mobs. No, just fucking unknown goons. They're good at lighting fires. They're good at burning people, especially ones from Africa. I hate to say it, but that's their thing. So no, I'm not saying it. They're saying it. So hire goons. So this guy's a piece of shit for being one of those people who says, if you can't do it right, you got to do it yourself. No, you don't. Fucking goons.
That's a great point. Maybe that's what's going on in Aurora. They're just setting up the goon headquarters so you can rent out goons.
Goon quarters.
Goon quarters.
Instead of goon, how about goon? Just call it that. Just have a guy going around punching people in the desert. Goon.
That is a really good point. You don't want to like it. Did they not learn from Eminem? Me and Dre stood but next to a burnt down house. It wasn't Eminem alone with a can full of gas and a handful of matches. It takes 2 to make sure no one finds out, right? You get it.
I do get it.
That's
why they call it window pane.
Because you leave out the window.
That stupid song.
That was a bad one. Not one of my favorites. Now, you talked a little bit about radio. Have you followed the latest radio drama that's going on?
No.
Well, that is our next
Is Howard
story.
Stern still dumb?
No, it's no one nearly as big as Howard Stern. This is
Oh.
called The Downfall of Aaron M. Holte.
Who would that be?
That's Steel Toe, buddy. You know what?
Oh, steel toe in the morning with the stupid show in Minnesota. Bah, 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 bah. Your wife left ya. Some guy fucked your wife. Bah, 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 bah.
You know what? I'm actually going to share the screen for this one because as much as you hate this guy, I think you might be able to follow along with me.
It's Gino?
No, I thought you didn't like Steel
Oh.
Toe either.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Allegedly, in the early hours of August 29th, 2024, the world of shock jock radio was rocked to its core. Aaron M. Holte, the once charismatic voice of the Steel Toe Morning Show, became the target of a scandal that would end not just his career, but his freedom. M. Holte, who had built his reputation on pushing boundaries and crossing lines, now found himself on the wrong side of the law, with a felony warrant issued for his arrest in Stearns County, Minnesota. Now, there has been an update since this article was written. He is listed as an official inmate, so he is in prison.
Go, thank God.
Charged with 2 counts of non-consensual dissemination of private images, more commonly known as revenge porn.
Dude, you moving it like that is the creepiest thing there can be. Him just slightly coming up. Put back down when you pull it up and just like, hello, Keanu, hello. Yes. Hello. Where's Aaron Burr? Hello, boss. Hello, don't leave me.
Good one, boss.
Good one. I'll join the Proud Boys. I like boys. I'm proud of it.
Charged with 2 counts of non-consensual dissemination of private images, more commonly known as revenge porn, M. Holt's fall from grace was somehow as swift as it was inevitable. The man who once reveled in controversy now found himself at the center of one, and this time there's no microphone to hide behind. As the old saying goes, the show must go on, but not without a star witness. Enter Gino Bisconti, an alleged comedian with a penchant for controversy himself, who acted as a key witness against M. Holte. Bisconti, who shared the stage with Aaron on numerous occasions, testified in a shocking turn of events. I always knew Aaron liked to push limits, but I didn't realize he would push them all the way to the courtroom. The irony of the situation wasn't lost on anyone. Bisconti, a man not exactly known for his clean comedy, was now the moral compass in a case that could send Aaron to prison. He thought it was all a joke, but some jokes go too far. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Aaron Holte for sending pictures of his ex to another person? Like, you've said it a million times on here, Pat. And if this was your point, I apologize. But when anybody's willing to show you their naked body, you enjoy it, and you wouldn't want to do anything to be like to make them feel bad for sharing that beauty.
No, you say thank you for your service.
Right. 1,000,000%. Why? You don't need to send it around. Let's be honest. Like, you're just, you haven't evolved. It's an Arrested Development past high school where you still think that's the way to be the cool guy and to win the cool man over. Is it Mr. Free's speech for snitching on his friend? Is it anyone who got mad at me at Compound where I was like, hey, something's off with that Steel Toe crew? I think that dude's a weirdo. And then boom, every piece of what I said came out to be true. Pat, we'll kick it to you first, buddy. Who is your piece of shit?
It's not you for making this about you. It kind of should be, but it's not. It's not me for doing a weird voice and making fun of Gino. I actually have no problem with Gino. Gino doesn't have a problem with you. I always didn't mind Gino, so I'm just having fun. That's all I'm doing. It's neither one of us. It's not Gino. It's not Compound. It's not any of those people. It is Steel Toe. And for the only reason being that he's Steel Toe. Because this guy is one of the most untalented. I can give credit to what credit's due. When I watch something, when Aaron and Gino were together in Hot Water, and I've said this many times, they all understood their roles, the Boothka boys, all that stuff, and they were a well-oiled machine. It was one of my favorite things to watch. Yeah, Gino had to take on a lot, and he wasn't good enough to be as good as him and Aaron together. He wasn't, and he was never gonna be. And that show was never going to work when they kept the name. If you turned it
Yep.
to the Gino Visconti show, they probably would have been better off, to be honest with you. And it would have been fine. But Gino was good at being the guy who like fed the things to Aaron and all those people. He did well in that. Aaron Holte, whatever you say, was never good at being a husband. Never good at being a radio person. Like Chad Zumach is a better radio personality and broadcaster than Aaron Holte Steel Toe. Like, as much as Chad Zumach's terrible at that, but he's so much better because at least he knows that he's like what he is and leans into it.
He plays his role.
Steel Toe tried so hard to be holier than thou. Like, look down and, oh, you're just this little this, you're little that. And his whole show was him just kissing the ass people that could help him and then shitting on those that pointed out that, hey, you're not that great. Instead of just like ignoring everyone and just doing his show. And his show became everything that he said he hated. And I'm very happy that the biggest thing that happened to him was him being exposed for being a piece of garbage and a cuck and a fucking loser and all that. And I have no stake in the game. I don't know the guy at all. But just watching all that, even stuttering John Melendez is a fucking more reputable radio personality and comedian and overall entertainer. And that guy's the worst of all times. I guess second worst because it's going there. Yeah, it's Aaron Imhole for existing, or maybe it's April Imhole for also making him think he could get. I know people make fun of her, but that's a pretty girl. For him,
In Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, for him thinking that A, he's talented, and then B, with his talent, can get attractive women. Yes, you can't. Mental illness always comes in a pretty package. That's the problem. But like the fact that it did come in a pretty package, and then he got to come in her pretty package, that kind of gave him more confidence than he needed. So it's him for existing.
A lot of people are probably expecting me to go with the second option there, but you're absolutely right. For me, what bothered me the most about Aaron was he got his one shot on the network and he used it to take a shot at what he viewed as the lowest man on the totem pole, which was me at the time. Like almost like a jock in high school. Like I got to come in and show I'm one of the boys and I'm above this. And like people behind the scenes were like, please don't respond. We know you can bury him. Don't do that. And all along the way, I was like, I don't want to. I just don't want my name brought up. Like
why
don't
shouldn't
use
I
me
respond if
for
I'm being
clout.
talked
Yeah,
about?
exactly. And he was a guy who, like you said, acted like he was holier than thou and above everything, but literally just every ounce of his existence was begging for relevancy and begging to be a part of what he viewed as the cool table at lunch. So for me, he's absolutely the piece of shit.
Because you just said what you said, it does make me feel that there should be co-pieces of shit because I didn't realize one part right there. We've talked about some of this stuff. I didn't realize that behind the scenes, people were, I know they were telling you not to say anything, but I didn't know that they were agreeing with your point in telling you not to say. I thought they were just saying, don't say anything because, hey, this guy's not part of the network, but we put him on the show. Like, I was never part of the network, but I co-host.
Yeah.
I would fill in a lot. Same way he was. He wasn't officially that, but I had pilots on there. So for them to be like, don't say anything, but also say, we know that you could bury him. That's one thing to say. But to be like, yeah, we know he's being wrong. Then they should be saying something to him about, hey, man, we're all a team here. I don't know if you think it's getting you attention, but that's not what we're looking for. You can shit on people on the outside, shit on Kevin Brennan, some other people like that. There's no point in doing that because it's not helping us because when we do put Bobby on the air, if people do like you, now they don't think much of Bobby, you're hurting a product. So I'm kind of happy that they've had a downfall now. So there's co-pieces of shit.
So what if I told you that conversation happened? The next time he was on, he went on and was like, sorry, we don't want to hurt Bobby's feelings. I got a lecture last time. Anyway, maybe there's an elephant piece of shit in this story too.
Elephantitis. How about that?
How did he get so fat?
Of the balls. Oh, yeah, another. Okay, so I got one more story myself here. Bobby, have you ever been invited to a wedding?
Oh, I have.
Told not to go to the wedding because, and I'm sure this happens all the time. It happens to me constantly. Because you were too sexy, and it would have made people not pay attention to the bride or the groom because you're so sexy, you can't be at the wedding. This ever happened to you? About like this? No, it's not meant to be even asking, but this happens to me all. My sexiness gets me uninvited to shit.
What's crazy is a lot of them have the opposite problem. Or like I have the opposite problem where a lot of people use me as a groomsman. So just by comparison, the groom looks more attractive in all the photos.
Yeah. You're actually saying like, hey, we need less sex. Where's Bobby? And then where's me? That's what they do.
ZZ, I
But
am working on that. Just DM me what service you would like to use, ESPN or Yahoo.
we aren't this woman because this story is I'm so sexy. A bride banned me from her wedding. And she says I shouldn't be punished for being slim and pretty. A bride raised hell ahead of her holy
She did
matrimony.
both?
Slim and pretty.
The
That's
bride
the,
said the bride said you can't be here, but I'm not. You shouldn't be punished for being slim and pretty.
No. The woman herself said
Oh,
I shouldn't be punished. The pretty woman said I shouldn't be punished for being the gay version of what's the country band Big and Rich? Slim and Pretty. That's the
I love that.
a bride raised hell ahead of her holy matrimony, banning a smoke show friend from her for fear of the social media model's beauty would outshine her own on the big day. I had everything planned. Carped calmly, content creator Sabrina Lowe, 23, to What's the Jam after being booted by the bride. So I don't know anything about Sabrina Lowe, content creator, but and I see one picture. She looks like a guy with tits. I don't know. I bought the dress, paid for the hairdresser and makeup, whined the bombshell from Brazil, adding she spent over $320 on the gown alone. However, 2 weeks before the wedding, I received a message on WhatsApp that changed everything. The bride explained that she was worried I might attract too much attention because of my slim frame. It wouldn't look good for me to be beside her at the altar all the time. It seems Belle's like the bosomy brunette, who often doubles as a platinum blonde pinup, can't seem to catch a break. Glamour gals blessed with pretty privilege, advantages afforded to showstoppers owing. I hate how they worded this. What I'm saying is there's other examples of hot bitches not being at weddings because they're too hot and they're going to make people not pay attention to the bride. Shai Lee, a millennial fox from Orlando, Florida, previously told the Post that being pretty is honestly more of a curse than a privilege. Pretty girls are never taken seriously. Continue the head turner. That's Ted Turner's gay name. It's me, Head Turner, and I'm here to suck your cock. TBS, the bitch station. Pretty girl privilege only works in certain aspects of life, and other pretty people jump in and chime in. It's a bunch of pretty people being quoted. One lady said, "I use charm, charisma, and riz to persuade guys to buy me things." As long as she's got riz. And the whole story is just about other people. So she wasn't at the wedding because she said she was too hot. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it a woman who thinks that that's the reason she was invited to the wedding? Because I would think it's because this woman's already saying, I already had all these things set up for video. I bought this dress. A woman that was trying to outstage the bride is what it sounds like. And this woman's like, if you're going to do this, I don't want you there. I want a low-key wedding. I invite you there to be part of the wedding. It's not about you. It's not about your content. Fucking don't do this at the wedding. Is it the bride for doing this? You know who you invited. And you know that if you fucking tell her no, she's going to make a big enough deal that someone in the New York Post is going to write an article about it, and you're in Brazil. Is it the husband? Because all the husband had to say was, right to the bride, yeah, I mean, I know it's bothering you, but have you seen her fucking face? She looks like a fella. Like, don't worry about it. I know she thinks she looks hot. It's people on the internet who are creeps and like things. You're beautiful. She's a tranny. Who gives a shit? And then she would have invited her anyway, and it would have been fine. And then if that guy did want to cheat on his wife, he could say to her, the other lady, hey, listen, my wife is so jealous of how beautiful you are. She didn't want you at the wedding. I think you're beautiful too. I probably couldn't have paid attention. How about you touch my penis? That could have happened too. So he should have done that. Or is it the New York Post for writing this article? Because, my God, this is not news. Bitch doesn't go to a wedding. Who gives a shit?
So it is the New York Post, but that they're a symptom of the underlying disease, which is these hot people thinking they didn't get invited to things because they were too attractive. It's not because of how you look. It's because you have a too attractive personality. Like, you are a terrible human being and you're acting like that. This is not going to help me beat the gay allegations, but do you remember when Cher sang the Star Spangled Banner?
I don't.
So this was this whole thing. My mom's a big Cher fan. This is how I heard the story. And it was this whole thing because Cher was known for her over the top outfits and being very burlesque and very sexual. And she came out in blue jeans and a flannel top. And they were stylish, but it wasn't showing off her looks. It wasn't showing off anything like that. She realized the moment was bigger than her. No matter how attractive you are, if that's a concern for somebody at a wedding, you can dress in a way and act in a way that it does not draw attention to you. You know what I mean? Like you can do whatever you need to make the moment about the person or the thing it's supposed to be. And these hot people can't put it aside because they've never had to do that in their entire lives. Like, especially that seems like this chick who thinks it's appropriate to have a live vlog going at your friend's wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that that even crossed your mind is nuts. The fact that you got invited to a wedding and your first thought was, oh, hell yes, let me get all my production stuff ready instead of, fuck, I have to go to another wedding is preposterous. Like, I don't care how much you like somebody, a wedding's a chore. So for me, it's the hot people who think they don't have to act normal. Like, there's nothing more refreshing than when you meet somebody who's genuinely attractive but has like a fat chick's personality too, where you're like, oh, okay, you get it. You get how to be a human being.
Yeah. I agree. It's the girl. It's the who thinks she's hot, whatever, and she's not really. I mean, whatever. She just got fake tits, and she's Brazilian. But Brazilians are usually better looking anyway than this lady. She's just skinny. Brazilians are known for their big asses. This lady doesn't even have a big ass. She's not even being the best Brazilian. She's not even like the hottest lady in Brazil. But like, and I get it. You're a hot lady, and it's how you make your money, all that shit. But the part I think this is you want to talk about your gay allegations. I'm going to sound even gayer right now. Because I'm going to say it's a woman who thinks that $320 is a lot for a dress. To me, when I read that, I was like, that doesn't seem like a lot of fucking money on a dress, especially for a wedding. That I thought they would buy more fabulous dresses. I think you kind of look like a fucking dress barn bitch if you're rocking a $320 dress at a wedding that you're trying to be the star of. Now, you're not supposed to, if you're not in the wedding and you're buying a dress, you don't buy something that expensive. You buy something that you can wear another time, like a nice sundress, something like that you can wear to other things too. But you don't fucking buy a $320 gown. What are you going to the prom and shit? What are you doing? And that doesn't sound like a ton of money. If you told me you just bought it, I mean, like, yeah, it sounds like a lot of money for a dress. But if you told me, oh my God, I'm going to be like the hottest girl there ever, and I spent $320, the hottest women ever, when they go to like, award shows and things like that, those actors and stuff, they spend thousands of dollars on those dresses, or they're donated to them, but still, it's thousands about thousands, not 300. And I don't think Brazil has that shittier of money of us. That's like 320. That's you could buy a house or something. I don't think it's that.
You either get to be the star of the wedding or a Maxinista. You don't get to choose both.
Yeah, $320 is like you can't even get like a really good hotel room. No, you know what I mean? Like, so what the fuck? So piece of shit is you and I for being gayer than this story.
I can live with that.
Yeah. You got a final thing?
Do you want to do a final one, or do you want to call it here, buddy? We've done about an hour and a half, right? Or no, hour 8.
Fine with calling it, but before we call it, let me announce this. If you've been scrolling there, but you haven't seen it, for all of our people, Terry and E, and all the people that ask the questions all the time, we have finally come up with a new schedule for the show. The show will be on twice a week. It'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3:30 p.m. So same time, we'll be doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3:30 p.m. Now, sometimes it might just be me. Sometimes it might just be Bobby. Most times it'll be me and Bobby. But yes, that'll be the show. 4 days you just could not pull off my other schedule and stuff going on. Now, regarding the Thursday Thoughts thing on the Patreon, we'll be doing something else for the Patreon very soon. We'll announce it soon. And I don't know what day of the week it's going to be on. It might not be Thursdays. It might not be called Thursday Thoughts, but there will be a show on Patreon. Content will be on the Patreon weekly. Bobby and I are still figuring that out. That'll be up very soon, and we'll make sure you're on there. You're going to get that content. But for now on, we will be Tuesdays and Thursdays. Not monetized yet, my friend. We're getting there closer. Like I said, probably by the end of the year, we're getting very close. But we appreciate all you guys watching and staying with us and being on the times when we're on. We know we announce it. I even today put up on our YouTube. It's already up for Thursday. So at Tuesdays, I'll put up the Tuesday and Thursdays. We know a show is going to be on at some point. So we'll see you again on Thursday. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. Like, subscribe, all those things. And then, well, Terry, that's great. How about you then fucking cover all the other shit I do, and then I can do that. So maybe fuck off. But also, and I love you, but also that's not how that works. I'm not going to go on less once I get monetized. Once I go on monetized, I might try to find ways to be on more because then I'm making money.
And I am gay, Jim. Gay for that pussy.
Yeah, that makes no sense, but okay. But anyway, yes, like and subscribe. We appreciate you all being here. That's all great. But Bobby, you got something you want to promote? Real quick for me, I've got Thursday night. I'm at Comics at Mohegan Sun, 10 p.m. And then Saturday at 7 p.m. I'm in Derby, Connecticut, at Twisted Vine. Oh, and also if you're in New Haven, Connecticut area, Saturday during the day, I am with WPLR hosting one of the personalities at the Chili Cook-Off. So come see me there. I'll be eating some chili in the morning and then shitting my pants at the comedy at night. So you just hit me up on DMs, whatever, if you want to find schedules or links to those things. Bobby, what do you got to promote first before we play the final song thing?
I know it's a while out, and it's rare I plug to one person in the chat, but Terry Nee, November 23rd, I am returning to headline the Laughing Stock Comedy Club in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Come on out.
Me too, Kevin. Me too. And then, Bobby, we have a song. What's this song about?
It's about it's about the radio drama.
Oh, okay. So it's a Steel Toe Song Jam. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on Thursday. Bobby.
If you can't join him, beat him. And don't be a piece of shit.
Oh, Aaron thought he was the king. On the mic he let it ring, but karma's got a wicked sting. Now he's sitting in the slammer, can't feel a thing. Revenge porn ain't no joke. Now your life's gone up in smoke. Your girl's a whore, and now you're broke. Aaron's a cuck to a tart on coke. Gino took the stand and smiled, said it fuck him, but I'm in denial. But now you're facing legal trials. Aaron's fame faded like old files. Revenge porn ain't no joke. Now your life's gone up in smoke. Your girl's a whore, and now you're broke. Aaron's a cup to a tart on coke. Revenge porn ain't no joke. Now your life's gone up in smoke. Your girl's a whore, and now you're broke. Aaron's a cuck to a tart on coke. No more shows, no more gags. A happy cuck, you can suck and be fucked. You're a fucking flag, and life's just shit. Packed your bag, so here's a lesson for the crowd. Don't be loud and oh so proud, 'cause when you fall you'll hit the ground. Just like Aaron, you'll be bound. Revenge porn ain't no joke. Now your life's gone up in smoke. Your girl's a whore, and now you're broke. Aaron's a cuck to a tart on coke.
Allegedly.
POS show yo. Show yo. Show yo. POS show yo. Show yo.